Property Tribes TV now talking property security and safety, and I'm delighted to be joined by Arthur Duke, founder of Living Guardians. And Arthur, relatively new concept that's come across from Holland, but what exactly is a Living Guardian?
Living Guardian is where we place a young professional full-time employment into an empty commercial building, or it can be a residential building, to guard against it getting squatted, and also guarding against any asset theft or dereliction of the property.
So really, you know, somebody might say, well, why is a Living Guardian better than just paying for a security guard? Living
Guardian is a much cheaper and cost-effective method of securing a building, because the way the law is drafted currently in the UK, for buildings occupied, it cannot be squatted. A security guard can cost anywhere in the region of £300 a week, and for a Living Guardian, we don't charge for our service.
Right, fantastic. You mentioned there the laws on squatting. Clearly, it became a criminal offence to squat a residential property, but not in the case of, a commercial building or a pub or something like that. And so squatters are seeing these empty buildings as kind of a fair game, aren't they?
Well, the way they view it, one of their routes has been cut off, so they're looking at the other route, which is any type of commercial building, and there is a massive rise in commercial buildings being squatted currently.
And one thing that really sort of stuck out to me was the financial benefits of having a Living Guardian in respect of how you can get commercial rates reduced.
Yeah, so one of the byproducts of what we do, we have an arrangement with the valuation office that when we put guardians to live in a commercial building, they take it out of the empty rates list and they charge council tax instead, which can generally reduce the liability on the owner by about 90%.
Now give us some actual numbers for this, because you had a case recently which it was several £100,000 that you were able to get the bill reduced by.
Well, the most recent one we did was a former gymnasium in Covent Garden. The client is going for planning permission to convert it into residential. The empty rates liability was £150,000. We had that reduced to a mere £3,000.
Wow.
So a big saving obviously for the client, who's very happy because it will affect his profit.
And the Guardian is really there to protect the property, and that can include, watching out for obviously theft, vandalism, squatting, but also if there's a water leak or there's a problem with the building. So it really is an all-encompassing kind of property management service, isn't it?
Well, basically the property becomes the Guardian's home, and if you have a leaking pipe in your home, you're going to get it dealt with sooner rather than later, and obviously they will inform us accordingly and we'll get it fixed as soon as possible.
Now, you did touch on something there as well. When properties are going through the planning process, they can be empty for many years. And also, when refurbishment is happening, those are ideal times to consider having a guardian.
Yes, because the problem is when you're going for a planning permission, you don't know how long it's likely to take, and it's very difficult to get a normal tenant. So rather than leave the building empty, the client uses our service. We put guardians in because we can have them leave the building on 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah, because they don't have rights of tenure, do they?
That's correct. They sign a licence agreement, and one of the clauses is that they can be asked to leave within 2 weeks.
Fantastic. So obviously a growing phenomenon, particularly in London, but you also work really in the M25 area as well.
Yes, London, the South East, there's a huge demand for guardians because there's a lot of empty buildings.
There is. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I think it's a very interesting concept because I think obviously the guardian has somewhere to live. Obviously the community benefits as well because it reduces crime in the area, and that's got to be good for the community as well.
So it also brings income into the community because all the guardians use the local pub, the local shop and local facilities.
So a true win-win situation.
Everyone's a winner.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and do check out Living Guardian's website for more information if this has been of interest to you.